Hi everybody, my name's Alan. On behalf of the crew, I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Bridging Heaven and Earth. You know, I mean, for me, it's such an opportunity to come here. And as most of you know, there are just, enormous numbers of people involved with putting on something like this. And for us, every one of these people, these extraordinary beings are volunteers. And in this day and age, to have so many people involved with so much commitment to excellence, so much commitment to the vibration of love, and so much commitment to getting out that experience of love and oneness and truth and the open heart and the healing heart is just such an incredible gift. And then we have, and I think one of the cameras here is behind, we have like 25, 30 people in the audience who came in from all over, really, to share in that, to meet the guests and to come together. And so much of an opportunity is available on this planet now for us all who are having large experiences of that truth, of that love, of that oneness, or just an inkling of it, to really come together in collaboration and joy and love, to one way or another, one spoke on the wheel or another, to just be together, to play together, to joyously be on this glorious planet, and to let that love shine, to come together with no divisions, with the hope and the desire and the intent and the prayer to feel love and share it, to let that love grow, to let that open heart become more open, to let that open heart become truly open. So many different great teachers and musicians and authors and psychics and healers and musicians and artists, and if I say musicians once more, but just extraordinary people in every field, touching every aspect of life, are coming out, are coming out in love, are coming out in consciousness to share their gifts and to share their visions with us. And now we have technologies that allow that to really vibrate around the planet almost instantaneously. Now we have, in the bridging world, in the bridging experience, this is like the 220th show, and except for the one we did earlier tonight, we shoot 2 shows at a time now, we have like 650 hours on 3 separate, 220 hours on 3 separate stations, have full every minute of the bridging shows from show 1 in 1995, with all the extraordinary guests and healers and psychics and musicians and artists and authors and dancers and singers and every aspect of that oneness, of that love, available 24/7 worldwide. So the opportunity is there for that graciousness, for that experience of our connectedness, of our oneness, of our open-heartedness together, of our open-hearted collaboration to really explode now, and how we can take that opportunity, and what an opportunity it is. And again, we have somebody tonight whose life is dedicated to taking that opportunity and sharing it. And Richard Shulman is just an extraordinary composer, a keyboardist. His music is empowering, it's inspiring, it's positive, it's uplifting, it's joyous. He's recorded 20 albums, and he's just recently finished this masterwork called Camelot Reawakened, A Vision Fulfilled. And you'll see probably close to 20 minutes of it tonight, 18, 20 minutes of it, where he describes it, where he talks about it, and you hear it, and you hear just the magnificence of it. And we have, those videos of his music, of his discussion, of his power tonight. And we also have, as most of you know, been watching the show for the last, 50 shows or so. We're in the middle of this international art project where we had this vision, and we sent out the call all over the world that we will participate, we will collaborate with you, we will make these incredible manifestations of love artistically available on Bridging, which makes them available all over the world. We'll have shows about it, we'll have art openings. And each one of these people would produce a new original piece based on the theme Bridging Heaven and Earth. And literally we've gotten hundreds of pieces from all over the world, all different types, jewelry and sculpture and photography and multimedia, and literally from all over the world. So we're going to show actually two pieces tonight, by three incredible beings. One is a glass piece by two separate people. And one is this dear friend of Bridging, Therese Marie, who is going through some health issues. So, when you see the picture, I mean, if there's a way you want to reach out in prayer, and help her to deal with whatever, health issues she's going through in the most positive way, would be a beautiful thing. So, as we normally do, join me in a short meditation, then we'll have the first half of Richard's video, and then we'll have Richard with us and art and more music and beautiful things. So really, it's an opportunity. Let's all take it. Let's be together. Let's collaborate. Let's feel that infinite, feel that inclusion. So join me in a short meditation. Thank you. So the first video is the beginning of this extraordinary master work, and Richard's played at Carnegie Hall, he's played at the UN. It's Camelot Reawakened, A Vision Fulfilled, Richard Shulman. Enjoy.
Robert Hart Baker, the conductor, said to me as we were working on the project, before you're done, the whole town's going to be helping you on this. To me, Camelot Reawakened is about realizing the dreams that we have in our hearts and bringing them out into the world. Doing this project fulfilled dreams of the heart that I have had for years, and which for one reason or another I wasn't prepared to accomplish until now. So at a certain point in my evolution, one day I awoke from a dream, and in that dream I was hearing what I would call music of the spheres, heavenly music. And I was so moved by the light in this music. But as I awoke, a thought came to me which said, I can never write this music. And the music stopped. At that point, I realized that if the inspiration was going to come, I would do my best to fulfill it. So that began a journey of learning how to write this music. It began a journey of improvising music to the point that when I improvised, this music of the spheres would come through me. And that was a preparation of many years. So finally, in 1996, when I started hearing music from Camelot, I had enough skills that I could write it down and I could orchestrate it. And I tell you, as soon as I started to follow this dream, every voice within me said, this isn't going to happen. All the naysayers within me spoke up. So there they were. I found if I fight them, it doesn't help. If I say to that part of me, well, you know, maybe it didn't in the past, but hang with me this time, and we'll create this dream together. So all the parts of us are needed to fulfill a dream. The neat part about this is that when we receive a vision, it begins an adventure. And where that adventure is going to lead us, the personality never knows. When I received this vision, the vision I received was a sword. I do these things called musical soul portraits, where I sit in front of somebody and I ask for music for the highest good for them. And in '95, I went to Glastonbury in England and had some spiritual experiences. A year later, in '96, I was sitting down with somebody to do a soul portrait. As I went into meditation, I saw this sword come down. And I opened my eyes. I said to the client, "Did you see what I saw?" And she said, "I have one word for you, Camelot." But to truly follow the vision and to take it step by step is a process that helps us evolve. It brings our potential into manifestation. So it's not just the dream that is fulfilled. It is our true beingness which expresses itself through us. And that is the dream fulfilled. I had to spend a lot of time to match the inspiration. When I wrote Camelot Reawakened, it was over 5 years, and it was in the midst of my life, taking an hour or two a day, almost until the very end. Fulfilling this dream has been mostly in my spare time. And what this music for me means, it has to do with the dream of the heart, and the dream of the heart being fulfilled. And that's something that we all have. We all have that dream of the heart. We all have the vision of what in our deepest self we want ourselves and our world to look like. And my understanding is that as we dovetail these dreams of the heart, because they're connected with the all, they can harmonize by themselves. And my faith is that as the music has come together, that peace can come on this earth. And so this piece is a prayer, this piece is a vision of hope, and this vision is what life can be.
Hi everybody, welcome back. So the picture you're seeing in between us is Dancer of the Light, Therese Marie, having real health issues. Just let's be in prayer for her to really come through. She's an extraordinary human being, an artist, and just being in the light. So she's just going through these issues. And when we announced this incredible art project, she just came right forth and did this. So You've seen Richard in video, now you see him on set. Welcome, Richard. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Alan. Good to be here.
Yeah, really. So this has been an incredible process. I called it a masterwork, and that's as soon as I heard it and saw it, it was just struck me as just this explosion of talent, of love, of graciousness. How did you come to do that? What was your experience? Why don't you just talk about it a little?
Well, there was a weaving together of all these parts of my life, and also the recognition that my life is related to the life of everyone on the planet, the universe, or whatever. And as I guess you just saw the video of talking about where I saw this sword come down. I was doing a musical soul portrait, and when I do a musical soul portrait, I ask for music for the highest good for the person. And then I listen inside. And as I listen inside, I start to hear music.
When you talk about a soul portrait, you mean a musical soul portrait?
Musical soul portrait.
Right.
This is so I'm at the piano or on a synthesizer keyboard. And as I start to hear the music, I will start to hear music that relates to that person or that group, whoever I'm playing for. And it's a fascinating process. And I've been doing it since 1986. And basically, I'm working so that I can follow with the music. I follow the pathway of the person or the group's divine connection, or to find that place moving into their oneness. And this one particular time, I was meditating, getting ready to do this musical soul portrait, and I saw a vision of a sword coming down. And basically, it was Excalibur. And I had had a vision of that. I had been in Glastonbury a year before and had seen myself with Excalibur while in meditation. Well, the process of this piece, it was like a healing and a gathering up of many of my abilities and potentials. And not only that, my understanding is there's a soul group of people who experienced Camelot. And in Camelot, there was an attempt, and for a time, I believe, successful attempt, to bring heaven to earth. And however you want to, whatever that means to anybody. To me, the principles that we heard in the musical Camelot, it's like being one with the land, and the king being one with the land, and the round principle of the round table, that everyone in existence is honored. So it's not so much hierarchical, but it is a place of being in the oneness. So it was interesting how many of these melodies came to me. I did, maybe in the 3 years after I first got that initial initiation, there were maybe 100 people that I did musical soul portraits for. And most of them, as I was playing, a certain energy would open up. It's like a column of light would open up. A new piece of Heaven on Earth Camelot template would come in with a melody, and it was as if that person I was playing for was carrying some soul piece of Heaven on Earth in the flavor of Camelot. And there are so many groups, soul groups, bringing higher vibration onto the planet at this time. And Camelot is one of them. So Camelot Reawakened is about the establishment of the principles of Camelot. It's not about the drama. It's about, you know, the happy ending, the field of dreams. And so as I was doing these soul portraits for people, a section would open up and I would recognize it as Camelot music. And an energy would come with it. And it would be, I understood it to be that person's connection with Camelot, and it was the piece that they were bringing, and they were bringing that to me so that I would get the melody. And that was a trigger or an activator. That melody became an activator for whoever else listens and is meant to hear that melody. It's like there was a template in the music of a society that is harmonious and one with the land, and harmonious within itself and all around. So, so it's a symbolic piece, so that each melody, I had like a list of melodies like this, and I spent much time seeing what melodies wanted to go with each other. And as putting those melodies together, I started to weave this tapestry, which became this Camelot Reawakened, the symphonic work. There's another piece that I just lost. So ask me a question. You're in it.
I'm in it.
You're in it.
Yeah.
So what happens is there's a weaving of melodies, and oh, that's what I was going to say. Every time I open my own channel up to do a new recording, to do a healing record, or whatever, there would be a piece of Camelot that would, another piece. It's like
Would
my
you say
higher
it's
self.
finished yet, or is it still ongoing in a way? I mean, do
No.
you feel if there's a period on it, or is this Camelot Reawakened 2, 4, 8? I mean, is it, because the way you're talking about it, it seems like a trilogy of some kind.
You're opening up something that
I mean, I could feel it. That's the
Right,
only reason
because-
that it's not a period on
because it's not finished.
it. Right.
The piece is finished, and the video is finished, and the video describes what's behind the music. But and that serves as a template by which, a harmonious template in which we can each follow our dreams. And as we each follow our dreams, it opens up a doorway for the next person to follow their dream more easily. But is it finished? I thought it was finished. But then, so there becomes the part of this which is people in their own lives following their dreams and creating heaven on earth together. And so what I'm learning, there's two things happening. One thing, I'm learning how to live in Camelot on earth. And the other thing is, I thought I was done with Camelot, but I started writing something else, and it's still about Camelot.
It's interesting because I almost felt the download of it just a couple of minutes ago when you got, you forgot what you were saying because there was this.
Because the energy
whoosh.
was telling you, it's like,
So
so
I'm
the mind
watching
goes
this
blank.
whoosh, and I knew you couldn't say anything, so I didn't want to interrupt.
Right.
You said, ask me a question. I didn't want to ask anything. So,
Right.
It's
So,
funny though.
like sometimes it comes in so thick.
Right.
that
No, it stopped you, and
then
I
the
wasn't
mind doesn't know
stupid
how to
enough
work.
to interrupt it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, I'll be stupid enough the next time. No,
Okay.
hopefully not. But no, it was so obvious, and I just wanted to see this beam coming in.
Right. So that's what would happen to me. This beam would come over me, and that's my piece of the puzzle. And we each have our own pieces of the puzzle. And so here I am talking about it, and who knows how many people are going to hear about it and see and hear some of the music and follow their own dreams.
Or collaborate with you in making Camelot 2 a little different.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no, it's
the next piece,
opportunity.
all right, since you saw it, I'll speak it. The next piece is a musical, and there's already 3 songs written.
Wow.
And it starts at the end of Camelot. It starts where Camelot, the musical that we all know is Camelot, where that ends, where the story ends, and we go into the wasteland. But when we went into the wasteland, what happened is the characters of Camelot, with all their power and might, with all their emotion and their intent, said, "Oh, we messed up this time. Let's do it right next time.
Wow.
I know that we can do this," and that's what the musical's about. And it is such a large soul group to bring peace on earth, peace within ourselves, to end the war is going on inside ourselves, so that the outer manifestation can create a peaceful reality on the planet. There are so many people who are ready to start to manifest their vision of their soul. And the vision of the soul is more magnificent than we can even imagine but the thing is, we recognize it when it starts to happen. It's just like when I would recognize the music as I would hear it, say, wow, that's the music that can uplift me and humanity and take us home. But you know what? It's not about taking us home away from here. It's about bringing home here.
Yeah, where else can you be?
To be here.
That's beautiful.
So one of the songs is about being here now. So.
And you've written the words and the music?
I'm in the process of, so far, the first draft is words and music. And it's a process. And it's amazing how the right people come up to remind me to work on it. So thank you, Alan, for reminding me that it isn't finished, and there is more work for me to do. And the other thing
Let me ask you, isn't the work, once you start doing it, joyous and just that you feel the harmony of your life and you feel that you're, doing what you're supposed to do and in the right place and all that?
It's so beautiful.
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, we all do it to some extent, but, I'd like to hear your response to it. Why is something that's so beautiful, do we forget? Do we have to be reminded tomorrow to do something that's so beautiful for us and so in harmony and so fulfilling?
It's habit patterns.
Habit patterns.
And for me, my habit pattern is I have my own record label. So unless I carve out a certain time in the day when I'm going to compose,
you just have a lot of day-to-day,
yeah,
like shrink wrapping or whatever, fulfilling
orders and answering the phone. And then I'm also a jazz musician. So it's like taking gigs, and every time I get on the road to do a gig, it takes a few hours. So I have to carve out time to practice. I mean, I'm supposed to be a musician. I should practice.
Wow.
So I have to carve out the time to practice and to compose. So, but the fact of the matter is, this new musical is so compelling. And
it almost forces itself out of you.
Yeah, and it's like I prepared my whole life for it. And it's like, I tell you, Broadway is in my blood. I mean, it's just like those kind of songs just bubble out of me.
Wow, that's
so
fantastic.
It's like,
if only Mary Martin were alive. She was backing out
alive with the sound of Camelot.
Right. Okay, so let's hear. This is the second half, the end portion of this incredible heavenly music, Camelot Reawakened, the Vision. Phil, why don't you describe that last? Instead of me, who's only listened 50 times, let him.
Who lived with it for many
10 years. Right.
So, what you're going to see is the 9th movement of the symphony being performed live of Camelot Reawakened, and the subject is The Dream Fulfilled.
Okay, go, enjoy, it's beautiful. Enjoy.
The ninth movement is called The Dream Fulfilled. As I began to write the ninth movement, I found that I was writing an integration of various parts of my dream. Each of our dreams is like a jigsaw puzzle in a way, and that finished jigsaw puzzle is a jigsaw puzzle piece for the community. As we follow our dreams, we find out more of who we really are. We find our center, we find our potential, we find out our divinity, and we also find that that divinity shapes our personality as its own expression to create more and more beautiful worlds and realities. So the more we partner with this divine inspiration, the more we bring to our lives and our world. So what is Camelot, and what is this dream that wants to come true? Why is it that when we hear the Man of La Mancha, when we hear the song, The Impossible Dream, what is that that stirs in our hearts? To me, that is the dream that wants to be fulfilled. It's a dream that deep in each person's heart, there is a recognition so it's a matter for us to follow that feeling, to follow that dream, but to also have discernment and to not battle the windmills thinking that they're giants. So I've had to let go of my fantasies and deal with what's in front of me. Take one step at a time. Hold the entire vision in my mind, even the parts, especially the parts that I didn't know what they were going to look like. But with the trust and the faith that if I just did take that one next step, things would continue towards the completion of the dream. So I just hung in there for as long as it needed. It gave me an opportunity to use my persistence. When I hear in my mind a beautiful melody, a melody that uplifts my spirit, it reminds me of the harmony of life. It reminds me of gratitude, because that beautiful melody is greater joy for me. So I just put my attention where that bliss is. And I believe that my higher self knows when to place that melody in my attention. How do you talk about a happy ending? The dream is accomplished, and it has a life of its own. It is a blessing, and the world is a happier place for it. And gratitude extends to the original inspiration, the journey, and the end reached through cooperation and dedication.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. So that was some beautiful music, wasn't it? Yeah, so that was great. And the art piece you're seeing, I mean, I don't know, I would talk about just all these incredible types and forms. And this is a glass piece by Bianca, who's, involved tremendously with the show. And she did this with a collaborator of hers, Maya Lukic. And it's called One Love, this extraordinary, look at it. I mean, just look at it. A flying heart, flying into love. It's just this beautiful piece. So really, if anybody's interested and wants, there's no time frame, there's no format that can't be used, there's no size, there's no limitations of any kind. So we're back with Richard. So we were talking and we found this miracle that you're doing this musical now. And so you started to say about like the story, is like coming through you and downloading. How do you see this story manifesting? And you talked about starting when the other Camelot ended. So how do you see it like being relevant to this time? Is it going to take place then? What is your feeling about that?
This is about the process that we are all going through in raising the vibration of humanity, and as the planet raises its vibration, so that cooperation and community are happening more and more in terms of dreams of the heart coming true or coming into actuality. So, so if we consider that the attempts in Camelot of creating a really beautiful society where everyone is honored and where the land is honored, that when Camelot failed, so-called failed, in other words, that experiment ended, the vibration, the intent that came out of Camelot, the intent of the people who were involved, who really wanted to create that society that's really in harmony with our inner divine and the divine in nature. It's really about oneness, and it's about the creation in physical reality of that kind of synchronicity and good intent, and creating harmony and peace and love that so many of us have been yearning for and working towards. That's what this musical is about. It's about recreating or reawakening that dream of Camelot, that dream that we all hold in our hearts. And if it doesn't seem that we hold it in our hearts at a certain level, if we go deeper and deeper and deeper and go to that place of the oneness, the place where landscapes of creation are birthed from our soul, the experience of those landscapes of creation working together as one weaving tapestry of life is what so many of us, and in truth, I believe, the soul of all of humanity is working towards. And for me, the musical is a little bit of a symbolic working out of the actual story, to see that in certain people's lives. So if you could imagine that after the characters of Camelot had passed on, and see them on the inner planes where the round table is set up, say on the causal plane, where these ideas come from, the ideas of manifesting the equality of every divine being, which is each one of us. if you can see the round table and you see Arthur showing up after he's killed, and Lancelot after he dies finding the Holy Grail, and the different characters come, and the whole round table is there, and all the beings from that that era, and then of course all the souls that supported that experiment in bringing heaven on earth. So there they are in this heaven world, or in this inner plane realm, and they're planning, or shall we say we are planning, how to create this experiment again in a way that it will work, and it will just manifest more and more beautiful worlds of realities right here on earth. And so how do we do it? So we send down thoughts of enlightenment. We send out thoughts of technologies. We send out thoughts that might go to a musician like me and write something beautiful. Or you send down thoughts like the ideas of the Kennedys as, Camelot. So you get this, so people start thinking about Camelot. And then you send down people from that original group to reincarnate and to live their life without, at first lost, and then to send down energies to help those people awaken, where they can start creating heaven on earth. And
So part of this would take place in modern times?
well, part of it takes place on the inner planes, and then part of it takes place right now.
Right now. Wow.
And
So you could be a star in the movie. There's a musician,
I
Richard
could be a star in the movie, right? Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I don't need to be in that play. I'm
Well,
in
you
that.
don't know.
I'm in that life.
Right.
I'm in this life in which I believe this is actually happening, where there are so many people that it's becoming a critical mass of consciousness, where so many of us are yearning and wanting and doing whatever we need to do to get just the right frequency so that this particular idea can come through. And as each person does their piece of the puzzle, it opens up the door for the next person to do their piece of the puzzle. And then we all bring our puzzle piece together, and lo and behold, we have a beautiful world, not just a beautiful world in nature, but a beautiful world in humanity, where we can work together to create a society where all our dreams come true.
A vision fulfilled.
A vision fulfilled. I had no
Hallelujah.
idea, but it's a little bit Walt Disney, but in a way, what did he touch on? What did Walt Disney touch on? That
Shrek
dream.
9.
Yeah,
Shrek.
I never saw any of the
No, I
Shreks.
know. I didn't either, but I know they're up to like 16 now, so they must
Yeah.
be successful.
Kind of like bridging on heaven and
Right,
earth.
they're not
Yeah.
up to as many as we've
Yeah.
done.
Okay, well-
We're ahead of Walt in that one.
Okay, well,
There you go.
but he inspired people to start thinking about the magic of life happening right on earth, and our dreams to come true. And so those people in the film industry who have followed those pathways of, like Field of Dreams, it's like, and of course things like there are so many things now, so many movements in the media that are talking about how do you manifest your dreams. And for me, those dreams are the dreams of the heart, which are at one with our divine nature. And they are outpicturings or divine expression of that nature of who we, I believe, who we truly are on the deepest level. And those creations in movement on the planet, how people meet each other, how people can turn an argument into love by recognizing the truth of each other, and all the tools of consciousness and all the tools about meditating and the bringing of the masculine and the feminine into balance in each one of us so that we can actually find our oneness. So the musical is a downloading from that place of oneness that recognizes the particular unfoldment or drama that is needing to happen and is happening for more and more people in creating a harmonious world, a more and more harmonious world. And so the musical is an activating tool for spirit to help more of humanity to wake up. And what fun it is for me to write a musical, because it's in my blood. I grew up watching Oklahoma and My Fair Lady and those great, and of course Don Quixote, and to follow that dream, and as I said in the video, to follow the dream, but don't bother to try fighting with the windmills because they're a distraction. Just keep doing the work. And I was reminded of a moment in another movie called Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon.
St. Francis.
About St. Francis. And St. Francis is talking to Bernardo, or one of the other brothers. And the other brother is, he's not yet gone with Francis to be in the community. But he's complaining about this and that and all these problems he's having. And Francis just kind of, all of a sudden, he lights up and he says, "That stone, that would make a great cornerstone for my church." And it turned out that this was the first disciple who was the cornerstone of the group of the Franciscans. So it was like on many levels, but Francis his job was to, as far as he knew at that time, was to rebuild that church that he had found in ruins. And so instead of going into the drama that his friend was in, he just got on track. So the activation, I saw that movie and I sobbed through the whole movie. That was part of my activation. So
yeah, that's beautiful. It's Franco Zeffirelli, right? It's
yeah,
a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
He did another one, Jesus of Nazareth, that I think was another.
I didn't see that.
That was a beautiful. It was like that 7-parter.
Oh, okay.
It was really beautiful. So you just see over the next period that, whenever you can, that fire is moving through you, and that it's almost like it's got to come out.
Every time I sit down, it's like my lower mind, my personality mind says, "Well, I can't do this." But the fact of the matter is, when I sit down and spend time with it, it's there. It's totally in harmony with my entire being.
Well, let's end there. That's and that's what we want. Is we want to feel that truth. We want to feel that love. We want to feel in harmony. I mean, we want to feel love and share it. So if you want any information, Alan, 805-687-2053, 805-687-2053. Good night. God bless you. Thank you.